Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Okay, happy Monday, everybody. It's been kind of a roller coaster weekend. We had kind of a drop and a bounce back. So there's plenty to talk about. We'll look at the weekly close and kind of catch up on what's going on. Man, the last few days of last week were just kind of a wild thing. So I'm a little behind. Sorry for not getting some more updates out, especially with the market as wild as it's been. But just quick update. We're doing at cryptoinfluencers.com. This is my home base for everything. The free channel is here. This is my paid channel here. And this is where I do all my trading. So it's just cryptoinfluencers.com. Also, on Wednesday, we do live stream, and it's at 12:30 Mountain Time, so 2:30 Eastern. And we are, I just come and I'll give you kind of an update on markets and whatever, and then we can just sit back and chat about whatever. So that's always fun. I always really enjoy that. But let's get into it. It's been very interesting. I was a little bit nervous last week when we closed below the 20. This is Bitcoin on the daily right now. Our 20-day moving average is a pretty big deal. When you get on one side of it, generally it acts as support. And you get on the other side, it'll act as resistance. And right now we're kind of messing with it. We closed slightly below. We had a Dragonfly Doji at the bottom of this trend, which signals a trend reversal. So this resulted in our green day yesterday. And then now today, we're all over the map. So I should almost really start with the S&P, because Bitcoin is trying to follow a little bit of what the S&P is doing. And the S&P is really in an interesting place. I've talked about this for a month, that ever since we broke out of this, I was expecting a pullback to confirm support on this line. Last Friday, we did it. You see this candle right here? This is a little candle with a nice long wick, and we tagged support really close to the 200-day moving average. But most importantly, it gave us a clean confirmation on the other side of this resistance. This has been resistance for a year with 4 solid touch points, and on touch 5, we broke through, rejected off the 50-week moving average, and then came down and touched it as perfect support. This signals a reversal. I am very bullish on S&P. And today, we started very green. We opened pretty high, almost 400 on the SPY. And then we kind of pumped up a bit, and then we kind of bled most of the day. But we're making progress, because look where we hit. Our low of the day is exactly like ridiculously close to our 50-day moving average. See this little green line right here? The 50-day is sitting there at 396.77. Our low of the day was 396.75. It is ridiculous when you see these kinds of things just match up perfectly. So we came back, we knotted support on our 50-day moving average. We also intersected our wicks with our high on Friday and our low here to close this gap. Not that closing gaps are always that big of a deal. I'm not a big gap closer trader. I think it's a little more superstitious, but it's all good. We got a flip from resistance to support today off of these wicks here. We just tagged the 50 as respect to show that we have support on the 50. And tomorrow will be a new day, but I am definitely expecting markets to start lifting up. And if we do lift up to about 417, right where this 50-week moving average is, the S&P is going to start moving up, and it will no longer be dragging down Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin will probably get a boost from this. And that's kind of one more reason why Bitcoin this particular season is kind of bullish in my mind. And Bitcoin's got a few hurdles, but we're getting really, really good. Weekly on the S&P, it's even more clear. You can see how we just tagged these tops right here through the weeks. And then our weekly close last week gave us support on this line. We also did grab support right here off of the 20 week. So we've got exactly what we need. Oh, I'm sorry. The S&P is the only one that you can't trust this thick green line because there are weekends missing, and so this calculation doesn't quite work perfectly. So we have to actually go to the week to see where the 50 week is. And today our 50 week is sitting at 399.17. So we're a little below that, but I would definitely expect us to regain this in pretty short order. So S&P is bullish, and that brings us to Bitcoin. I'm going to go and grab Binance's. So this is the weekly close on Bitcoin. It is very clear that we are rejecting off of both the 200 and the 50-week moving averages. These are not great things. This can spell a pullback when we're running into resistance like this. The only thing that gets me is that if you remove these averages off, we've come back for support here at a logical place. That tagged a mirror of this resistance here. We're finding resistance at a perfect spot here and here. So our bottoms and our tops make perfect sense all the way through here. And so we're coming back, and we're going to have to see where our next move is. Whenever we have a large green candle, it remains bullish as long as we stay above the top 50%. And our 50% mark was just about 3,000. 23,000. 23,000 was the number I was watching for Sunday. And right before, we ended up pulling our close up about $500, and at 23,550, we closed well above our midpoint. So this is a pretty decent, I know we are consolidating. This is, we did not get a clean break above this point and come down and find it as support. And we definitely have some challenge with this. So we're not fully out of the woods, but as far as, a close in isolation, it actually was not a bad candle. This week will tell us a lot more, but if we could get back up to the 50 and close near the tops here, it would be unbelievably bullish. And I remain very strongly opinionated that if we touch 25,000 again, now that we have all this structure in place, we will really break through it hard. That's my opinion. I think our pullback from 25 gave us the rest we need, and if we have enough strength to hit it again, we'll probably break through it with flying colors. So that's kind of what I'm expecting here. If we, if this does all break down, because nothing's guaranteed, I'm betting that our 20 will be pretty good support, and that's at 19,700. So I believe that our bottom is in. And the reason I believe that is because we have had high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. This is a momentum shift. So what I was expecting is a decent pullback to actually give us a solid line in the sand. We went up a little bit too much, had kind of a toppy bottom. So it's really kind of a tough say if this is actually it, but we'll see. at the very least, we do have a higher high established. Whether we have a higher low or not is still, the jury's a little bit out on that. This could take months to really see. But overall, I'm still pretty positive with how this week turned out. Now, if you look at Ethereum, it's even better. Ethereum's got a couple of extra things on the weekly that we don't have with the daily. So on Bitcoin, we're below our 200 with our 50 coming down. And on Ethereum, we're above our 200. In fact, we had a big candle to break below it. We had it as resistance for a couple of months. And then we had a big candle to break up through it. And now we've got support. So we're now ranging between our 50 and our 200. Ethereum's just got a better looking chart. And that's why I'm even more bullish on Ethereum. So now let's dig into this. We definitely have a little bit of a swing low here. There's no clear match. There's no other, there's no other trend. There's no other swing that really matches this. So I think this is just a reflection of Bitcoin went up, so Ethereum went up. So that didn't really, there was nothing special about this bottom. But this top was pretty clear, and this top is at 1644. Well, we had a nice bullish engulfing candle here, and our pullback over this past week, our close was 1641, only $3 below this top here. This is close enough that you could potentially put a line here and say something's going on. So whether this can hold, I mean, it's you want to see some blue sky before you come back and find something as support. But there's a lot going on. We got the 50 right close that we are rejecting off of, and this week is brand new. So I don't know what this looks like. If we can close our candle body up near here, we're going to have a breakout to the upside for sure. And as far as a comfort level goes, if things break down, the 200 is going to be very strong support, especially with our higher lows pulling us up, and with a nice consolidation in place where we're starting to break our prior swing highs. Like, we're starting to move into higher highs and higher lows. And so this is really a pressure cooker. It's looking awesome. If we have any weakness, the 200 is definitely our strongest line right now. And that's sitting at 1430. So 1430, that means $200. I'm thinking worst case. It is very, very likely that we will remain up here. What will often happen, especially if we get really close to a declining resistance, is we'll kind of track it for a while. So if we kind of track it for a few weeks, then on our next leg up, we break it automatically, and then suddenly we can get out of here. So the weekly looks pretty good. I was very, very happy about this. This long tail on this weekly on Ethereum is really, really good. And so there's some positive things here. On the daily, it was pretty nerve-wracking because Saturday we tagged the 50 again. We do want to, it is nice to confirm a level as support, but when you do, you have to lift off. You have to get off of it. So if you touch it as support, you really need to turn around. And this was a really nice response to touching the 50. This one has the jury's still out. We have a very strong indecision candle happening right now, and the market closes in 1 hour. Obviously, this is a pretty strong bullish engulfing candle, which brought us above the 20. We do have a wick supporting the 20, so we are showing support on the 20. We have support on the 50. So this chart really does look bullish. But over whatever the course of this leg is, this leg up, it needs to be pretty strong. We need to clear these highs if we're going to remain bullish. If we kind of touch the 50 and then we kind of go sideways and then we touch it again. The more frequent touches on this means that it's probably going to break down. So touching it this quickly after touching it down here, this only gave us like about 2 weeks between touches, and so we really need to lift off. We don't want to be touching this again. We hit it as support. Let's get off of it. So I'm really kind of watching how this is going to play out over the next little bit. I'm happy to see that we're above the 20 today. We closed above the 20. We hit the 20 as support. Tomorrow we need a nice strong green day, and it could easily happen. This does look very, very bullish to me. So Bitcoin on the daily, it's doing the same thing. Full indecision candle. We had this candle here that happened on Saturday. It set us up for Sunday's green candle, which brought us above the 20. So we're doing the same thing. We're above the 20. We had a wick earlier that gave us support on the 20. So this is looking much, much better. If we were to close down below the 20, down here, this would look very ugly because we don't have any response to this declining resistance that we have. Today, if we can close, flat or up, oh man, it's gonna really make me get excited. It is odd that we have stayed so far away from the 50. This is very unusual. If you don't touch it for too long, then you come crashing through it. So Bitcoin's a little bit in limbo. There's a lot of bullish things here, but there are some things that make me nervous. There are some things that can turn around and make this look pretty ugly pretty quickly. So it's kind of a little bit in flux. What I've been hoping is that if the U.S. markets, like the SPY, if it moves up in a pretty decent way, it'll kind of carry Bitcoin with it, and we'll kind of carry it. And if we carry up to 25, I'll tell you what, Bitcoin's going to have a mind of its own. It is going to have a mind of its own, and we have almost no resistance at up till 30, and I bet we'll hit 35. That's my guess. We probably won't stop at 30. That we're probably going to go to the 100-week moving average. So it's pretty tough. I mean, this weekly death cross should be really hard to cross. But the thing is there's so much strength in this. This move was way stronger than I ever thought it would. And we battled this for 6 days in a row. And now we're coming back. And if we don't completely fall off the tracks here and just really, really bite it, if we touch it again, there's going to be a ton of excitement into this chart. So this is kind of what I mean. This same situation happened in the last exit of the bull market. This one right here. So let me just zoom in on it. When we finally had the right structure, we were above our daily golden cross, and we had kind of shown an unusual amount of strength, and then we tried to pull back a couple of times. This chart looks really ugly. Like if I was trying to do technical analysis on the shape of this chart, I would see a very clear rejection off the 50, and I would see that we had a high and a higher high that didn't really do anything, because our next candles, we broke below our 20. There was no flip from resistance to support. So this whole thing is falling apart. Does this look absolutely identical to what we just did? We got really hot, way, way hot, and then we had a pullback of some kind, and then we reached up and hit the 50 week. In this case, we only hit it for 2 days, and then we fell off really hard. The only thing that kind of gave this some strength was that we ended up with a large wick, and we started, kind of ranging. But see, we were showing resistance off the 20. And it wasn't until this day that we finally recaptured the 20. So this is essentially what happened Sunday. Sunday, we finally recaptured the 20, but we're still below our highs. We're still below our 50 week moving average, we have a higher high than this. We have bearish divergence on our RSI. You see how we've got lower highs on our RSI. And then we had a couple of days of strength, and the second we touched the 50, we just exploded. Because we had been rejected off of it, we came back, found some footing, gained some strength, and then we broke the 50. The only problem is we have a 200 as well. So we've got a couple of challenges. But I could easily see this playing out. So let me just split screen, and I'll just show you just how close this is. So let me pull up the exact same chart in modern day. So this is where we are. We have had, yeah, this is pretty much the same chart. We got up really hot, really high. So we got really high right up here, and then we retreated down to here. We had a golden cross below us. Golden cross happened over here, so not exactly perfectly lined up, but the golden cross was in vicinity. And then we came and pushed up and hit the 50. In our case, we hit it for 6 days. I can't even believe that we did that. Normally you touch something like this and you immediately retreat. Something like this is usually so, it's almost poisonous. Like you hit resistance like this, a death cross, I really expected us to fall off. This candle here on the 17th, where we had a bullish engulfing after this retreat, blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. This is where I got fully bullish because just the strength in here is unreal. So what happened? We touched the 50, and then we retreated pretty strong. So this was a pretty strong move here. This move brought us below our 20. We still have our 50 rising that we never touched up here. And then yesterday, we just climbed above the 20. That's this candle. Now today, we have an indecision candle, but we are finding the 20 as support. So we're on the right side of the 20. The question is, do we, in our current day, do we have enough strength to get up to the 50? Because if we do, it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be fireworks. It is going to be awesome. So there's a lot of structure here that looks really nice, really nice. I am a little nervous that we haven't, tested the 50 for support. But at this point, we're up so high that it does make you nervous. Okay, so I'm going to pull up this thing here. So how did our bearish divergence resolve? For those of you who don't know what the bearish divergence is, it's this declining line. We have higher highs with lower highs on the RSI. Well, the only way to resolve this is to have a turnaround because we're fully bearish on RSI. Like our RSI is losing momentum and prices are accelerating. Well, this resolves by either the price starts matching the RSI, so price actually falls down with us, or we put in another move that brings us above our most recent swing high. So with that, let's go over to our current chart, and this is our bearish divergence. This isn't a very clean line because we've had a little chop, but this is higher than this. This is higher than this, and this is higher than this, and this. Technically, well, okay. Let me back us up. This would have resolved like this had we not put in this high. So I actually need to move this over to here because this is where our new high is. So this resolves if our RSI gets above this point here. So could that happen? Yeah, it would take a pretty strong move, but we could. Otherwise, we have to put in a lower low. we have to have a swing high that's lower than this, and then we have to put in a swing low. If this ends up being a swing low, and we come up here, weaken out, and then put in a lower, then that also resolves our bearish divergence. So going bearish will fix it, or going so bullish that we put in a higher RSI. That's the other way to do it. It's the preferred method, let's just say. But yeah, it is a very emotional market. Our market in the current scheme is much more expensive. Prices are higher. It takes more money to push things around. That means that the really big whales and the institutional investors and all these big companies, they're the ones that have the power in our market. It's a little bit different. So we're going to have a lot more fake outs, a lot more emotion, a lot more going on. When the chart structure is right, though, it's going to be hard because, it'll be hard to derail Bitcoin. If we get up to the 25, the chart structure is screaming buy. And not only would retail get excited, but institutions get excited because it's breakout time. And so we just need the right structure. We've had a nice pullback, this nice swing low, established a higher low than this. So we're still in a bullish formation. I really would have loved to find support on this. The fact that we slipped, it means that we're kind of in a channel or trending sideways a little bit. And we don't want to be trending too sideways after a move up like this, because that's a recipe for a pullback. But as long as we stay above the 20, then we're going to keep our momentum. As long as we stay above our 50, we've got momentum. And our 50 is coming down, so it's getting easier to reach. And if we can get one more touch on the 50, I think it's gonna break. There's just a lot of excitement in this market. So yeah, that hopefully should overanalyze the crap out of this particular market. I'm excited. I'm more bullish than bearish. I think if the case is that we need a pullback and the bears do take us down for a bit, the absolute worst case scenario is the 200-day. We are not going to go below 20,000, I don't think. It's just, I just think the idea of going below these lows is just really unlikely. With the structure of the S&P, I don't see a strong pullback there. And with Bitcoin doing this, I don't see enough weakness to get us there. So that makes it a lot easier to be bullish because the upside is unbelievable and the downside is limited. The risk reward is really, really good here. So last point I'll make, and then I'll let everyone go. We have the 100 ticking up. The 100 is now looking at these candles. So as these disappear, our 100 is going to increase much more rapidly because we're already down, erasing our lowest candles. In fact, our swing low for the cycle is 2 days away. So we will be among the steepest increase in the next 2 days. And if our 100 crosses the 200, we will be in a green zone. And green zones are good. We haven't seen a green zone since, well, we haven't entered a green zone since 62,000. So we have had a long period of yellow and red zones all the way down through this bear market. This will be our first green zone. So let me just zoom out ridiculously so you can kind of see. When we get into this yellow and red zone, this is our bear market. The first green zone, I mean, in this case, we weren't out of the woods. We still had a nice dip to go. But you start in on green zones, and it gets greener and greener and greener until we hit full on, like this is a 2-year situation. In the case of 2018 and 19, when we hit a green zone, that was kind of we got too excited, and we hit this, and then we ended up having a couple more red zones, and then we got back into the deep green zones. But yeah, if we can start a green zone, you can tell that we're starting a new cycle. Like we're in this ballpark. We're either here, or we're over here, and that means we're starting the move up, which means the bottom is in things are moving forward. There's a lot of really good things that are happening. So we're literally merely probably 3 days away, possibly, yeah, probably 2 days, two or 3 days away from seeing our first green zone of this cycle. Pretty exciting. All right, you guys, we will catch you tomorrow. I'll try to be more consistent this week. I think I have a pretty good chance. So yeah, I don't think there's too much on my schedule that'll mess me up. So hopefully we'll be as consistent this week. All right, you guys, we'll see ya. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.